What's up, guys? Welcome to video 3. This is going to be the shortest of the entire series, but maybe one of the ones you can relate to the most. Today you're going to find out exactly how to train at the optimal level, maximize your time in the gym with the most cutting-edge research in strength conditioning. But first, let's take a quick recap of what you've seen so far. In video 1, you saw how to improve your linear speed training. We reviewed the importance of acceleration over max speed, but how to improve in each area, technical flaws to correct, and some drills to try. In video 2, you learned about plyometrics. We talked about the importance of the stretch shortening cycle and power production, when to implement a plyometric program, and we briefly discussed the physiological background behind why it increases power, explosion, and the efficiency of all athletic movements, and how in turn that produces greater speed and athletic ability, which leads us now to today. We know speed drills and plyometric progressions, but how do we include them in our strength training and specifically maximize our abilities? So, right now, I'm going to show you. Let's go to the computer and get started. All right, guys, welcome back to the last video of our three-part series. We're going to talk about lifting weights today. Okay, pretty simple. We've talked about speed. We've talked about plyometrics. Now we're going to kind of incorporate them all into lifting weights in the weight room. So the best way to maximize our results is to combine all that we've talked about with proper strength training. So combine the speed that we talked about in video 1 and combine the plyos in video 2 to what we're doing and what we're talking about in video 3 here. There's a bunch of articles that show that the best way to increase our power and ultimately speed is to correctly combine strength work with plyometrics. Plyometrics alone is great, strength work alone is great, but to combine the two is even better. There's a bunch of myths around weight training in regards to speed. One, that you'll get heavy and slow, that you'll gain a bunch of weight and get slow. That's actually extremely false. A lot of the athletes we train come to us and they're maybe 160 pounds. Next thing you know, they're 180 pounds, 185 pounds, and they're running the fastest 40s that they've ever run. Just because you gain weight doesn't mean you're going to get slow. If you gain the right weight, you're going to get faster no matter what. If you gain the wrong weight, of course you're going to get slow. If you gain 20 pounds of pure fat, you're probably going to get slower. But when you choose the right strength training and the right progressions, you've got no choice really but to get faster. So even though you gain a little bit of weight, as long as it's the right weight, it's not going to make you slower. It's actually going to make you faster. I've got an athlete that I used to train. He actually gained 40 pounds and took off 3/10 of his 40 pounds and got faster by 3/10. He went from a 4.9 to a 4.6, gaining 40 pounds. So it's pretty amazing. Me personally, when I went to college, I gained 25 pounds my freshman year. I went in as a 182 pound free safety, and at the end of my freshman year, I was 207 linebacker, and I went from running a 4.77 to a 4.62. So I gained 25 pounds and got faster my 40. So that's a myth I'd like to dispel today. And another one is you get muscle bound. Not everybody who lifts weights is going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay? Not everybody who lifts weights is going to be huge, muscular, like the bodybuilders. It's just they've got great scientists and great chemists and great drugs to get them that big, whereas athletes with the right strength and conditioning program that we want to show you today, there's no chance that you're going to get that big or even close to that big and get muscle bound, not be able to move. But as long as we're doing the right things and the right range of motions and the right planes, we're going to train to look like an athlete, to be an athlete. Okay, we want to look athletic. We don't want to look like a bodybuilder. So just kind of what we're talking about here is lifting weights in terms of sprinting. Okay, you don't want to lift weights because you think it's going to slow you down. Well, which guy do you think lifts weights? The guy on the left. Which guy do you think is faster? The guy on the left. Which guy would you rather look like? The guy on the left. Pretty sure that guy lifts weights and probably lifts them pretty heavy. The guy on the right, no shot. Absolutely no shot. This is one of my favorite pictures to say this is what a sprinter looks like. Sprinters are supposed to lift weights. You've got to lift weights to get faster, period. So not all the benefits, but a bunch of the benefits that weight training can have on our bodies, on our athletes. Okay, it can increase size and the strength of fast twitch muscle fibers. Those are your type 2 muscle fibers, the ones that are going to make you fast and explosive. It can increase strength. It increases force production potential, speed and power, inter and intramuscular coordination. I mentioned that back in another video, and that's something we can cover again. But I mentioned that in another video. But that's something we can cover down the road. Let's just keep going. Increase lean body mass and decrease fat. Increase natural testosterone production for recovery. Okay, that's the biggest thing with training and everything is, all right, our body's got to rebuild. It's got to slow down. It's got to recover in order to get stronger, in order to get bigger, in order to get faster, in order to get more explosive. It's got to be able to recover, and testosterone helps with that. Okay, sleep helps with that, but lifting weights increases our quality of sleep, and also, obviously, weight training can reduce the risk of injury. So how will weight training make me faster? I get this question a lot from our athletes. I got it from a track kid one time. He's like, he goes, how is squatting or how is deadlifting or how is cleaning going to make me faster? And I asked him, I answered his question with another question. I said, what about stronger legs will make you slower? How will having stronger legs, stronger lower body, and more explosive lower body make you slower? It won't. Okay? Unless you're doing the wrong things, which we're not going to. But when we're talking speed, if you can have stronger legs, we're going to get faster. Okay? Weightlifting is about being able to produce more force into the ground or into an object. It's exactly what we're doing when we're sprinting. We're trying to produce force into the ground and propel ourselves out in a certain direction. And if we can increase strength, that equals into an increase in power output, which equals increase the rate of force production, which then equals faster. Pretty simple. Hope that makes sense right there. Like I said, that's about as simple as it can get. So what exercises should you do? I know a lot of people listening don't want to hear this. A lot of people probably want some gimmicky, some brand new exercise, but really the ones that have lasted the test of time has been squats, front squats, deadlifts, and all the Olympic lifts and their variations. So we want to choose exercises that improve lower body power, that recruit large muscles, okay, a large proportion of our strong type 2 muscle fibers in the shortest amount of time. And these are the ones that consistently will do that for us. We're going to squat heavy, we're going to front squat heavy, we're going to deadlift heavy. Great exercises. These are all great exercises to increase power output, force production, overall strength. When the Olympic lifts are coupled with plyometric training, they seem to be the best way to improve vertical jump and overall power and explosiveness. So we have to have some sort of base strength, which we get with our squat and our deadlift. And then we have to have some sort of explosive lift, which is Olympic lifts and our plyometrics. Olympic lifts are a great way to add an overload to our explosive qualities. But what we want to do is these lifts, the Olympic lifts, are closely resemble the vertical jump with extremely high power output during the triple extension. That's exactly what we're talking about when we're talking power. We're talking about jumping, vertical jumping, broad jumping was what we talked about last video. But a good foundational strength is a requisite to increase power through the Olympic lift. So you have to have some sort of squat or deadlift background in order to see the results from the Olympic lifting progressions. Some safety considerations I want to talk about real quick when we're talking weight training. Obviously, we have progression. So the progression we use for squatting is we go body weight squat to goblet squat to front squat to back squat. Okay, and we've got regressions as well. So say we got a guy that we're doing power cleans. The guy just can't catch a clean. He can't get the sequence right. It's pretty bad in that second pull transition. So instead of power cleaning, we're going to regress him and we'll probably do some clean style deadlifts, okay, right above the knee, and then do some hang clean to front squat, okay, so from the knee up. So we're going to take the power clean and break that down into basically two different lifts, so he can kind of get a little bit better transition, a little bit better progression into the power clean. Okay, and we may do that for a week, we may do that for 6 months. It doesn't matter as long as we're progressively getting better with him, and then hopefully this athlete can do a power clean eventually. But we want to progress athletes, but we also need to regress athletes because they have different types of learning curves. We may have an 18-year-old guy who's pretty physical, can kind of catch on pretty quick, and we may have a freshman that has never stepped in a weight room before. Okay, so we want to regress him, not throw him straight into power clean. So we need to learn how to do that. But you have different types of lifts. Barbell versus dumbbell, which is better? I don't know. It depends on what you're doing. Pushes versus pulls. You got upper lower. You got all kinds of things there. But some other just safety considerations. We got age. Like I kind of explained, we might have an 18-year-old and a 14-year-old in the same weight room at the same time. They may have to do two separate things, but you can have them doing two separate things just in a different, still going for the same goal. Still trying to get you to power clean, but maybe one guy's going to hang clean a lighter weight, one guy's going to power clean. It doesn't matter, but we've got to regress and progress based on ability there. So just a couple things we need to consider when we're talking strength and conditioning or weight training. Again, I mentioned this in the last video. How do we incorporate plyos into this actual workout? So again, you got to be strong enough to do it, right? We mentioned that the main requisite plyo training in terms of athletics is strength. But we also, once we have that strength, a lot of times we'll start adding plyometrics into our workout during the off season. Our strength and power phases is typically where we throw those in. We don't really throw them in the hypertrophy phase, when we're really trying to get bigger. But when we're adding strength and trying to add power, that's where we want to put these in. Okay, and we'll incorporate high amounts of jumping. Anywhere between level 1 and level 3 to 4, depending on who we're working with that day. And we'll also use them in season, just lower volume. So instead of say we may do 30 contacts a day during the off season, we may back that down to maybe 10, 15 tops in season. While they're playing their sport and they're playing a lot, we'll back that down because a lot of players, you talk about basketball players, football players, track athletes, volleyball, whatever. A lot of what they do in practice is plyometric in nature. So if you got a basketball guy out there, he's throwing up 200 shots a day, he's grabbing maybe 50 rebounds during practice, he's shooting a bunch of layups or whatever it is, that's all jumping. That's all plyometric. So why are we going to bring him in the weight room and do even more when we're trying to lower some of that contact, those overall contacts? So again, so a lot of it depends on where we are within the year. We're off season, in season. A lot of it depends on what sport we're playing. But that's kind of typically when we will incorporate our plyos. Of course, when they're strong enough to do it, when they're mature enough to do it, and during certain types of the year. So these are a couple methods of how we incorporate our plyos into our workout. So our contrast method is contrast sets consist of heavy resisted exercises paired with unweighted explosive exercises. The two exercises share a common movement pattern like squats and vertical jumps. So what we're talking about here is maybe doing a heavy squat. Say we're doing 3 sets of 3 at 80% on squat. Well, once we get done, as soon as we rack the weight, we're going to walk over to our box. If we're doing box jumps, or we'll stick with this example here, vertical jump. So we'll do 3 heavy squats, then we'll come over outside the rack, and then we'll do 3 vertical jumps. Okay, so this is very, very similar movement pattern. Okay, we're getting down in our jumps. Okay, just like we're just doing our snap down, our vertical jumps, and we're in a similar position as we are in our squats. Now we're being explosive, so we're pairing a slow, heavy exercise like squats with a fast, light exercise like vertical jumps. We also do PAP, which is post-activation potentiation. So that's performing a maximal, near maximal muscular contraction before an explosive movement. So what I like to do with this is we'll do some jumps, box jumps, vertical jumps, broad jumps, something like that, before we get into our clean. So what we're trying to do is excite the nervous system and get that ramped up to move into something that we're going to have high central nervous system activation to get a little bit more weight. How does this affect speed? These methodologies teach the body to produce more force in a shorter amount of time. Okay, again, higher rate of force production. When we couple weighted and unweighted exercises, the type 2 or fast twitch muscle fibers get recruited by a higher training means, which means training for strength and speed. We're training the proper muscle fibers that we need in large quantities. They also produce more force at a higher rate of speed, which will increase our speed and power numbers. Pretty simple right there. Contrast training. Okay, we got squat and broad jump. Just a couple examples here: squat and broad jump, hang clean and squat jump, power clean and box jump. You can really kind of intertwine any of these. Okay, any of the jumps that we do, and you just got to make sure that they're similar in nature to the exercise, to the heavy exercise movement that we're doing. And the next time you do a vertical jump, try doing some cleans or snatches before you jump. Just some light cleans, maybe 95 pounds, 135, something like that. Just do a couple cleans and then do a vertical jump. See if you get it a little bit higher than you would, and you probably will. And then post-activation potentiation training is incorporating explosive exercise before lifting weights explosively. Again, we typically put these in during or after our warm-up. So if you look at sprinters, watch them. They all do a tuck jump or two before they get in the blocks. Okay, this is basically what post-activation potentiation is. Okay, you're getting in there, you're exciting your nervous system, and you're getting in there and doing something explosive. Again, here's just another example: is box jump before snatches. So try, or if you don't snatch, you clean. Try doing a couple box jumps, 3 to 5 box jumps, and then get down and do a hang clean. And see if you can move a little bit more weight or move that exact same weight faster, and you probably can. So just in conclusion, incorporating the right jumps that mimic, okay, the right jumps are the ones that mimic exercises, which mimic the sport. Okay, so we're going to choose the exercises that mimic our sport, and we're going to choose jumps that mimic those exercises that mimic that sport. Incorporating the jumps with proper and safe strength and power exercises can have an incredible benefit on your training program. It not only will make you stronger, but combining the two will maximize your strength, your power, and your speed. Okay, there's no doubt in my mind there's been a major key to our successful athletic careers from some of our athletes. They've learned to be stronger when required to be strong. They've learned to be more powerful when they needed to be, and they've learned to be more athletically coordinated and really healthier as a result. So, combining all three of the videos that we've given you, you can really have some major impacts on you and your team as far as training is concerned. I mean, there's probably not a whole lot of places out there that are including all three properly. So that's really what we want to try to do here is really focus and hone in on, okay, this is what current, up-to-date, new scientifically based literature is saying. Let's include this. Let's get out of, what we did 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even 5 years ago. Let's start including some of this stuff because this is new. This is kind of the way it's going. It's all based on sports performance as a whole, not just strength, not just running, but everything combined and doing it the right way, obviously. So, just something to look at, something to check out. I know this is a little bit shorter than the ones in the past, and I kind of did that for a reason. I know I've been keeping you a little bit longer for those, but I think a lot of people know how to strength train and what they do, what they're doing there. But how do you incorporate all of it? Maybe the missing link, and how do you incorporate like your speed, your plyos, and your strength training all together to really maximize our efforts and our time in the weight room. So, again. Thank you for listening. I hope this, again, I know this is short, but I hope it provided some insight and some value to you, and you can use this and take it off with either you personally or with your team. Okay, I think it's a huge benefit for everybody, and we want to make sure everybody's got the right information, the most up-to-date information from us. So again, thank you for choosing 180. Talk to you soon. And now that you know what we do and why we do it, and how we get 2 and 3 stars to compete at 5-star level, it's time to act on your newfound knowledge. Click on the link below and sign up for our 180 Elite Performance Program. This is our 60-day all-inclusive, all-access pass to our program that has all training we've discussed so far in these videos. It has contrast training methodologies, proper plyo progressions, core lifts specifically designed to improve rate of force production, and of course our top speed program. This is truly elite access to our sport performance professionals. That's basically how it got its name, 180 Elite. This isn't just another online program. This is one made by real collegiate strength and conditioning coaches. These methods have been tested on thousands of athletes in our career and proved time and time again. This is the only place you can find this type of workout, and the only place you can find it at this price. So quickly, let's recap what we're getting. 1, you're going to get 365 days with a college-level weight training designed by certified collegiate strength and conditioning coaches with 2 decades of combined experience. 2, you get 12 months of true speed, lateral agility, and conditioning exercises to facilitate more explosive plays next season. What we're asking is simple. We're trying to give away all this value. What we normally sell for $499.97, we're now giving it to you for $199.97. That's 60% off if you act quickly. But that's not all. We'll also throw in a few bonuses. Bonus number 1 is access to our HD video library, where we house all of our warm-ups, training videos, tutorials, and team finishers. A $247.97 value for free. Bonus number 2 is our Core Crusher program for a team full of strong, stable cores. A $97.97 value for free. Bonus number 3 is our Nutrition Made Easy booklet, so you can properly educate and fuel your team for ultimate results. $67.97 value for free. Bonus number 4 is our neck training, included in the 8-week strength program to reduce the chance of concussions and to keep your athletes safe and concussion free. Bonus number 5 is our Camp Crusher, for you to educate your kids on some inside tricks and tips to dominate camps and combines this summer. A $97.97 value for free. If you just take another look, that's over $900 of value for only $199.97. That's 88% off. How could you possibly pass this up for 12 months of elite training? And the best part is we found out every single exercise in advance, so there's no confusion on what and when to do your program with the team. I take that back. The best thing about it probably is the fact that the work is done for you. You don't have to figure out what you're doing that day in the weight room, which plyos to go with, which ones to progress, which ones to add and why. Whether or not you want to do speed or conditioning that day, it's all planned out for you, saving you tons of time, effort, and energy so you can actually spend time coaching your sport. Plus, you get some pretty awesome bonuses as well. So click on the button below to learn more about starting to get your team on the elite level with 180 Elite. Thanks for watching. 180 out.